Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. I'm Ray Rossini, host of this MMN presents ConnectWise PitchIT Finalist something. The title keeps getting longer and longer and longer. And
I
joining
think
me
you did
is
really well.
thanks, man. And joining me as always is Mr. Sean Lardo, the ConnectWise evangelist and mastermind of all of this tomfoolery. How are you doing? I figure we need to switch up the adjectives. You know what I mean?
Well, considering you're butchering the title, you might as well you should shorten something. So I'm really
Look, I get. Why do you think my name's 3 letters? Like I do it so it's easy.
yeah, no, I'm okay. First off, I support it. As you know, I support simplicity. And if I could turn anything into like 4 to 5 words and I could describe the whole entire Magna Carta in 4 or 5 words, I would do it in a heartbeat. So I'm with you. I totally support it. But thank you for having me on. And yes,
And can you describe what the Magna Carta is, just for those of us that don't remember
I don't know.
4th
It's
grade?
some people overseas that wrote some stuff and like made this whole big document
I thought it was like sex protection. Okay,
Well,
maybe I'm
that
thinking of a different thing. Yeah.
that well
You
that
know, I think after the last several weeks of doing this, it's become infinitely clear that you and I are not capable of running this show ourselves.
no.
We had to bring in like somebody intelligent and well spoken, maybe somebody that runs their own platform where they do like showcasing vendors in a positive light. And since we couldn't find anybody, we decided since Kevin wasn't available, we decided to call Matt Solomon instead. So how you doing, brother?
I mean, desperate times call for desperate needs, and I wrote it backstage. I thought Jay-Z wrote Magna
He
Carta.
did. He did.
He was definitely
You're
around.
absolutely-
He was.
I mean, what album was that on?
Oh, good lord! That's how tired
Magna
I am.
Carta.
I'm thinking
It was
Channel
No,
Pro, Jay-Z.
No, don't worry, I got you, dude. So yeah, thank you, Matt, for coming on and helping. It's part of the Holy Magna Carta Holy Grail, is what it was, which was a great album, by the way.
Yes, it was.
And just so we're clear, Ray is a DJ too in his former life. So
Well,
it's a
used to be,
shame.
yeah.
Yeah, like I said, former life. Yeah. And it's a shame that he can't answer the question. Don't worry, Matt. We'll help him out.
But I don't know. Notice the comments say as soon as I arrived, it brought legitimacy to the panel.
It did. That was the intention. We had tomfoolery and shenanigans previously. Now we actually have some adults in the room. So
That's not even. Yes, I'll say yes. Matt, yes, legitimacy. Thank you.
So how you doing, Matt? For those like one person on the planet that don't know who you are, can you introduce yourself and all the awesome stuff the channel program is?
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And I'm sure there's plenty of people who've never heard of me. But and if you did, you probably heard of me in the space first at ID Agent. So I was the first employee with ID Agent, helped scale that to 2,000 MSPs before it got acquired by Kaseya. And then myself and the former founder of ID Agent decided to come together again and form Channel Program. And we're a free platform for MSPs to evaluate their technology stack. A lot of it's based on peer validation, product reviews. I think we just passed 3,600 product reviews. I just approved over 100 over the last 5 days actually, and we have a vendor management tool. It allows MSPs to visualize their stack for the first time ever, and stop using Excel spreadsheets. And we're gonna soon be able to operationalize it and really help them manage their stack for the first time ever. So that's what we're doing here.
Are you done showing off?
Sorry, he asked me what we do.
I mean, they do a lot of awesome things, and so like I thought it was worth, And Sean, it's not like Channel Program hasn't been helping the pitch.
Amen. Amen. I think it's actually perfect that you brought Matt on to legitimize this, because you're absolutely right. We did partner up last year and this year, 2 years in a row for PitchIT. When I sat down, when I took over PitchIT last year, we had to figure out a way to revamp it and get it exposure and get legitimacy to it, right, for the vendors and for the program. And so Matt and the Channel Program actually help with that. And they graciously agreed to host the preliminaries, the Battle Royale with cheese, because and Matt and I had a whole conversation on the Battle Royal. We had to change the Royale because we were afraid somebody would come after us. So
you were afraid.
We did. We seriously had a conversation on like, can't go.
Were you worried about Fortnite or were you worried about Tarantino? Like, where's the fear based?
No, I was worried WWE.
Oh,
Battle Royal.
Okay, even older than okay.
Exactly, the Battle Royal from WWE. We're because eventually we're going to be big deals on this. and we don't want them coming after us. So we literally had this whole conversation around it, and yeah, they graciously accepted to work with us, which I appreciate because they and it's gotten bigger. Last year to this year was far more time for us to be together. Last year was 2
Should I be
days.
jealous that you're spending
Yes,
so
you
much time with Matt?
you should.
That's something. You can
No,
keep
you
him.
can come.
I'm
You
okay
can come
with it.
along. I mean, like it's like it,
By the way, I can't believe I didn't realize it's getting picked up. But yes, I do need a 9V battery. My smoke detector is chirping in the background. I have there's 3 different alarms going off in my house. I've replaced all the batteries, but that's neither here nor there. I'll try to mute myself.
It's a TikTok meme at this point. You're good, man.
I thought you had like a canary. I was like, that's great. You have birds. That's amazing.
I honestly, I went straight to. I thought it was like an open window or something with like birds. I thought the same thing. I was like all about nature. All right, so channel program. You've been working with Matt on channel program, highlighting, doing the battle royale, with these PitchIT. Let's talk for one of the last times this year. Let's talk about what PitchIT is quickly.
Great question. And as you eloquently put not that long ago, I've been working on my pitch of what PitchIT is as we've gone through it, right? So, PitchIT is it's pretty simple. It's a Shark Tank like competition looking for with startup vendors that are emerging innovative startup vendors in the space. When we look for them, they're going to go through a 16-week program, but they're competing. We are looking for vendors that are able to do 2 things. One is to be able to work with us really well, be complementary to us, but most importantly, they are supporting the MSP space, right? And as I mentioned, it is a Shark Tank competition. So these vendors are going through a program, and this is where Matt comes into play. They go through 4 months of working with us, and then they come down to a preliminaries where 26 vendors get.
I'm sorry, Sean. That's your time for PitchIT. You went over your 30 seconds.
I didn't see that at first. Let me put that out there. Can we start that over again?
Right? Tim Golden did in 15 seconds. So, and he just had an awesome announcement. So you know what? If he can do it in 15, you should be able to do it in 15.
I didn't know that was 30 seconds, but I can. Okay. PitchIT is a Shark Tank competition for vendors that are emerging to come into the space and compete against each other. They're all working for the ability to try to win $70,000 grand prize at IT Nation Connect, November 8th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard. Done.
So speaking of IT Nation Connect, that's next week. We'll all be, Matt, you're going to be there too, right? You have to be.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll be there.
So we're all going to be there. Phil, if you can bring up the IT Nation Connect page. IT Nation Connect, honestly, one of my favorite events year long. The PitchIT finalists are going to be there for the final win. Take home all the beans, and then on top of that, you guys are doing some charity stuff too. Like you don't have enough going on.
Yeah. Yes. So I mean, okay. So for those of you that don't know, because I didn't know at first before I came to ConnectWise, there is a philanthropical area group of IT Nation Gives, and they've been doing stuff for years for tons of people. Now we've started adding in different programs to donate to as well each year. Like maybe people saw the bike builds and stuff along those lines that happened over the past couple of years. Yes, Keith Nelson donated $2,000 to this, just so we're clear.
Wow.
And this year, something that's huge. I mean, this is a great program we're doing. So we're doing Canines for Warriors this year. We're trying to raise $50,000. We started to really promote this just the last few weeks. And we've had some ConnectWise live streams and also with Sierra Pacific Group live streams on talking to the Warriors. What their mission is and what they say is first they rescue the dog, and then the dog rescues the warrior, which is phenomenal. They literally are getting dogs out of no kill shelters and retraining them for these veterans. So yeah, for every $25,000 we raise, we can rescue one dog, which also rescues a veteran. So yes,
that is awesome.
We're looking for people to donate. We're looking for people to do stuff, and you can see there's been some people that $100, $200, $500, $2,000, whatever. Everything counts. So we ask that people do donate. And by the way, all proceeds go to the charity. None go to any of the things we're doing. Zero.
And I appreciate that you got a really short URL, like something really easy to type. I need to talk to some of the marketing people over at ConnectWise.
I know. We repurposed it at one point, and it just something went wrong. I don't know. But like I do want to thank all the people that are on there, man. Like that have donated because and it's a good combination between colleagues of ours like Kyle Jackson, REC, to vendors, to MSPs. It's been a good collaboration between a lot of people. So
That's
Yeah,
awesome. No, always doing amazing things, and it'll be fun. I think we're doing a preemptive mini tech bar on Tuesday, is it, Phil? I think we're doing Halloween night, for God's sakes. We're doing a short version, but with people that are participating in some of the charity activities going on. So
awesome.
it'll be
Oh, like
fun.
John and Matt and all those guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They're
Yeah. Matt
and,
Topper,
and
John Harden. Absolutely.
they want me to run the
But
5K with them, just to be clear. I'm like, yeah, right.
you're going to run it, right?
If somebody donates a substantial amount of money, I will run it.
I mean, I saw at least $108 there from Brad Gross. Oh no, $308.
Yeah, it's
I
gonna
think
be
that's the weird part. It's all the odd numbers.
well. That's the processing fee.
That's what I was wondering. I
You
think
can
that's
elect to or not take the processing fee
Yeah.
on. So, like,
Gotcha.
I paid the processing fee. Otherwise, if you donate 500 and you said, "Hey, just 500," no problem. We'll just say 500.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. And teeth, I would never restrict you from anything. You're one of my favorite human beings, despite being Sean's father. So, speaking of my favorite human beings, we have this is a little different. These are not new people. These are returning people that have made the finalists of PitchIT. How awesome is that? And our first guest, Sean, should I let you introduce or should I?
I mean, honestly, you can, and I can just add color commentary if you like.
Okay, his name is
You're cool.
Bobby, and then you can just fill in the rest.
Oh, Bobby Jacobs is, yeah, I know that already. But Bobby learned how to play the game by going bald when he started the competition. Just want to point this out first. But Bobby Jacobs from Thread,
Unfair advantage.
it is like literally, and a beard.
Wait, I'm realizing I'm not going to be the only non-bald guy here. There we go.
You
That
are right
counts,
now. I mean, you will. But yeah, so one
There
of
you
our
go.
finalists, and I think it's important to acknowledge the fact that these people that we're going to bring on are the 3 finalists from 26 vendors. That's some hard work. And they went through
The
multiple
biggest class ever, right?
Yes,
The
the
biggest
biggest.
PitchIT class ever.
Oh, yes, by well, we did 18 last year, 26 this year. And we
How
also
many is that?
adjusted the way judging. What, the difference in you mean the delta?
Yeah.
8?
We had to do it for 3 days this time. I mean,
Yeah.
it got
That's a little
intense.
insane, right? Like,
Dude,
so
I did it for
so
6
Matt, talk to
days.
me about the process though, like because you interviewed the class last year, right? You did
Mhm.
the sessions with the class last year, and
Mhm.
then you did it again. You just did it again. Um,
Yeah.
well, was there any differences you saw from like I'm totally putting Sean and his coaching team on the spot. Were there any differences you saw with this class this year?
I think everybody came in a lot more prepared, and I don't know if that's because of the ability to go back and watch the previous year's
Yeah.
videos, or if Sean and the coaches haven't gone through it, just kind of gave them better talking points or whatever it was. And I would say one thing we did differently. We actually encouraged them to do a half hour time with us directly,
Yeah.
just to kind of just talk
Yep.
through it. And so I think everybody was better prepared. They really understand that the audience was the MSP, because throughout a lot of the process, the audience is about investment, and who would somebody want to invest in
Right.
versus the just specifically MSP audience. So the audience is a little different for ours, and they have to change their pitch, so to speak. And so I think it was just sharper, much more to the point, and that's the whole reason around our pitch event is like to cut out the fluff and really get to the problems you're solving and what makes you different. And I think that's something we just hammered into them every time, which was like, how are you different? Because even among this group, there was competitors essentially.
Yeah.
And so
That's not
Yeah.
unique. You have that
um,
friendly competition, right? So
Yeah.
let's bring up Bobby and see if Bobby feels the same way. I think he did extremely well this year,
He did.
and obviously that's visible from being in the finalists.
Hey guys,
How you doing, buddy?
great. Appreciate the kind words, Ray, Sean, Matt. Yeah, we are. I've been mentored into the indoctrination of bald guys with beards, so it's good to be here. You're halfway there, Ray. Maybe
Welcome to the
I'm
group.
working on
Welcome,
it.
welcome to the group. Welcome.
I'm starting my baldness from the back and moving forward is what it is. So
there you go. I like it. Hey Ray, at the beginning you said that depending on where you're based, your name is Ray Orsini.
yeah.
What does that mean?
No, not where
Is
you're
that am I
based.
missing
Depending
some
on where,
context?
depending on where you're based, I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, because we get visitors from all over the
Oh,
globe.
it was based on the time of day,
Based on
not
the
your
time,
name.
yes,
I wanted
yeah.
to know where your name is different
I
and what
am-
the story there is.
So
his
Matt and
movie
Sean will
name
laugh
job.
at me for this because they're going to call me a punk for even complaining about this because of the amount of travel they do. But I'm on my 5th leg. I'm only in Miami for 48 hours, and then I'm leaving again. I
Mm.
just did, I did Disney, then Scottsdale. Well, Disney, Phoenix, then Scottsdale, then Disney again. Then I just did Atlanta, Macon, Georgia, Chattanooga, and then Nashville. I'm back here going to Disney tomorrow night after Tech Bar, and then obviously Evolve ITNC afterward. So I'm a little brain dead at the
Sounds
moment.
awesome, Ray.
Yeah,
I
so I should be
appreciate that.
bald by the end of these trips. so,
No,
so all
You
right.
can still
So
remember all the places you're
I
going.
oh,
appreciate that. I appreciate that. Like it's one thing to travel throughout the year and like 1 or 2 a month or something if you have some downtime, but when you have 0
yeah,
time and it's back to that's when you start to feel it.
yeah,
Week 1, you're like, yes, I'm good. End of week 1, I'm like, okay, I'm still good. If week 2 starts and it's like that, I'm like, okay, I'm putting my face on.
yeah,
Halfway through week 2, I'm like, I hate everybody.
yeah,
I mean, actually, Ray and I had this exact conversation whenever things started opening back up and when we were working together. I went to the ASCII Houston event just as a visitor. We weren't even sponsoring. Like Jerry was like, "Yeah, come on down, check it out." 'Cause I'm like, I'm just a vet now. I call Ray on day 2. I was like, "Dude, my conference physique is gone. Like
yeah,
it's gone." I was like, "I'm done. I'm struggling here, dude." I'm really tired. My legs
yeah.
hurt. I'm tired. So you have to work out for that. It's like legitimate.
Meanwhile, Matt's laughing because he's like, I did 7 trips this morning. So
I did actually just get back. I got back from Charleston
see,
over
there you
the
go.
weekend. So
Oh man. And no, to the person asking, no, I was not at Robin Robbins. We did a company retreat. We do every year. This year we flew everybody to Nashville and had some fun.
Nice.
So yeah. So all right, Bobby, I want to ask you. Matt said you had the benefit, possibly had the benefit of being able to look over previous years, see how they did, especially all the media covered last year. Did you do any of that? Were you prepared, or are you just this human ball of badassery that you don't need any of that?
No, we definitely did a lot of that. And I think like compounding on that is there like PitchIt's a community. There's like a lot of people that have been in PitchIt. There were 18 companies that were in it last year that hadn't been in it before.
Yeah.
So now there's like 18 more vendors and companies that I can talk to and go to. And especially like, you guys talk about being on the road, going to a conference. That's where I really got to spend time with, whether it's Alertops, who is now our coach now,
Right.
Cam, or other vendors that had done it before, spending time at their booth between the official booth times and picking their brains. And not just from like a how do you pitch perspective, but on, because that's probably the least valuable part of PitchIt. Like the real value comes in on getting connected to like different thought leaders in the space, getting coaching on pricing and product and like all these things. And then just the outcome of it is a pitch on stage, right? And hopefully winning a lot of money. That'd be awesome too. But it's cool because this community is helping you pitch, but they're also helping you like build your business.
So, what you had lots of moments. You had your coaches, you had your training, you had your speaking opportunities, did the full media circuit. What are the highlights that stand out to you?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the media circuit, right? Small company, it's just a lot of work to coordinate a ton of webinar. Like if I message you, I can
Yeah.
get on your show, which is awesome. Like you make that an awesome resource, but that's still like a lot of work
Oh yeah.
for us to do to get on all these webinars and stuff. So that's a huge part of it. It's just giving, the face and the marketing resources. And then also the weekly calls, bringing in guys like Jay McBain and hearing about how he thinks about the industry. Like that was a really, really cool one for us. Those are two that jump out to me for sure.
What about the hard stuff? What's I mean, besides Sean, obviously. What's the like? Were there any surprise challenges you were not expecting in doing this?
Yeah, I mean, making a pitch with a slide deck, like we have a slide deck that we use for demos of our product, but that's very different than like how we think about how we're going to change the world and how we help MSPs. And
Yeah.
like Matt mentioned from the investor perspective, like we just basically took out some slides for the channel program pitch, so we're not talking about like our forecasted revenue and those types of things. But I mean that's a lot of work, and I think like part of the reason we did well is we have a designer on our team, and he was able to put work into it. Like if I had made our slide deck, it would not have looked the same. But he's working on our product, so him putting time into this slide deck,
Yeah.
and now it's something we can use outside of just pitch it. So there's a ton of value there, but that's a lot of work.
Awesome.
And to go back to you were asking before, Ray, even about how the class did and differences. I think one thing that we all learned from last year was to try to be a little bit more prescriptive in our approach to the guys, to these vendors. Um, and so we tried to get content conversations out early in the training, so we can start talking about how they position their deck. And we also like let the last year's head coaches all had readiness sessions for these vendors to talk about how they prepared. So we like over we probably we doubled we not even probably we definitely we doubled up on some of the classes, some of the workshops to really so we could satisfy that piece. Because one thing to tell people to do a bunch of things, but the problem is we tell them to do all this stuff, but we never have like a follow up to actually to provide
Yeah.
closure for it, right? Because I can tell you all day this, but we have to have a follow up call to say, well, what does that mean? Here's what I worked on, Ray. What do you think? And we can actually talk about that way, But so that was one. Two, and Matt talked about this. We adjusted the way we did the pitches this year to have two different pitches for these guys. So
Okay.
Matt was part of the pitch for the MSPs for the channel. The Battle Royale was for MSP only. We had private pitches that took place to the ConnectWise leadership with all judges, and we had a lot of judges on there. And that was more of the investor type concept pitch because GMs own the P&L, so they look at investments. And they look at investments on integrations, on go to markets, on everything. So they did so this year the judging for these three finalists went through a lot more than they did last year, and it was a combination of what was done with the channel program and all the people, all their comments, and also what the judges had to say as a result of them being able to listen to their pitch and ask them the question they need to ask. So it's become far more than it ever was. And the good thing is that the GMs are now involved in our world and ConnectWise world with all these vendors and know who they are.
Yeah, and I was just gonna. Oh, sorry, Ray.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, well, Bobby brought up like the PowerPoint designer at Canva, depending on the vendor. Look, a good presentation, sexy presentation or whatnot. If you don't have a good product, it's not going to make that big of a difference. But I will say, like when you get down to like having to differentiate yourself from very close presentations, that makes a huge difference. I mean, you saw it last year, like Vanahai. I mean, obviously great product, so it also played in, but they put together one of the best visual presentations like that I'd seen to date. Like they were one of the first to really use Canva, and it was just it made it like stupid simple. Like that was kind of the thing, and I think that's one of the nice things about having to dumb something down to 5 minutes. Because this is what it is. They had 5 minutes to do this pitches. Is you have to take your presentation that you would normally do in 10, 15, or 30, and how can I say what I need to say in 5 minutes? I think it probably changes how some of the vendors do presentations moving forward because I think one of the things visually that I like when people do is when they have like one sentence on a slide, or one word, and then they just talk about what the connection is to that.
So
especially so many vendors having a technical background. Like was it Mark Twain said I didn't have time to write something short, so I wrote something long. Like it's so much easier to talk for an hour about your product.
Oh yeah,
and so
especially the number of founder led, right? Like that's like this is your baby. You're so much. So Matt, I want to ask you, like, because you guys do this year round, right? You have your channel pitches. Have you seen, and given that this is your second year of the Battle Royale, have you seen the channel pitches kind of adjust a little bit after seeing the Battle Royale? Because these guys are getting professionally coached to do this stuff. I can't say most vendors have that benefit of like having a professional coach train you how to do this. So I would imagine the smarter ones would be learning from this.
You would imagine, Ray, but here's the challenge, I think.
Roasted the whole channel.
No. I think it comes down to.
I'm going to Channel Program's website now and just looking at all the vendors. Okay.
No, I think it comes down to there's a group of people who will take that extra initiative to be like, I want to see how my peers present, and then there's plenty that just don't, and some of it's bandwidth, right? Like some of these guys are just guys and gals are just on the road constantly, and a pitch will come up and they'll just be like, all right, I've got like 48 hours to just put this thing together, and unfortunately that's how it goes sometimes. But so I can't say we have a direct correlation between the PitchIT participant videos and it carrying over to our traditional engage /pitch event. Yeah, I honestly think it comes down to bandwidth a lot of times.
Maybe we should like cut up some like, some PitchIT contestants, like especially the finalists, and give it a sizzle reel that's like training. You've
Yeah.
decided to present on Channel Pro, Channel Program. Like, you know what I mean? Like, could you imagine that? I'm
So
Bobby from Fred.
I do want to say one thing real quick though. Bobby, what he's alluding to is dead on. When you're and you said it right too. When you're owner led and you're an engineer, it's really different than if you actually have people that do pitching for a living. And it's all about storytelling. You can have a bunch of slides and a bunch of stuff on there, but if you can't tell the story around it, it's irrelevant, right? And that's one of the things that always becomes cumbersome is over stimulation of information. Happens all the time. And I think what was a benefit to everybody was working on their 30-second elevator pitch and working on and then leading to a 5-minute pitch. It requires you to boil down and get to the point that people want to hear about the specifics. What we do, how we do it, why we do it. That's kind of what the point was.
And I think
so,
we're giving Bobby and the other finalists a lot of credit. But we all know that that success doesn't happen without the coaching staff.
Agreed.
So I think Bobby should introduce his coach. You know what I mean? Like this whole thing is about teaching you to speak publicly. I mean,
Sure.
go for it.
Yeah, I mentioned getting to like hang out at the conferences with other former winners and finalists and getting to learn from them. And I got to do that at the ASCII Columbus show. We were there with the Alertops team. Sean and I had a long night, fun night with Cam from Alertops, and he's now our coach. And yeah, so we've been meeting regularly, and it's awesome to get to work with Cam.
Yeah,
Hey, Cam, how you doing, man?
Can we acknowledge last year's actual PitchIT winner? Also,
Right, yeah.
let's give credit where credit's due, and let's
You
give
basically
credit.
you got like Blake Shelton as your coach, dude. Like you came out pretty well. Like you were winning from jump. You know what I mean?
What's up?
Hey, it's going to be a good competition, but I am excited to get to work with Cam.
Oh yeah, what's up,
How you
Cam?
doing, Cam?
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Thanks for having us on, Ray. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man, for sure. So, how is it? We talked a little bit about this. We got the opportunity to do an interview at a Secure, but how is it like now? Like, you got to feel a certain kind of way. You come out last year, you come out on top, right, out of PitchIT, and now you're coaching, and your guy you're coaching is also in the finalists. Like, that's got to see. Like, this is right up there with like, don't call it a comeback, right? Like, this is. Like, I mean, talk about awesome story. How does that feel having somebody in the finalists?
Oh, it's amazing. I know Jameson, our coach, was a former PitchIT winner too. So we're starting the dynasty here.
Oh, I love that. I love
Yeah.
that.
Oh, I got the text from Cam as soon as he found out who he's coaching. He's like, "Well, that's good. I know we're winning this year." So he goes, "This continues on the legacy for us." Like literally, that's the message I got from Cam. I was like, "Okay." He goes, "Jameson to us to now Bobby." I was like, "Okay, well."
Well, so talking about dynasty here, we have a serious question. What do you do, Bobby, if you win?
Yeah, well, if you look at our channel program pitch, we have a slide on it, and it talks about the features that we're building, mostly ConnectWise integrations. They're the ones giving us the money. So,
Oh, you're saying like work stuff. I would be like, I'm going to Disney and I'm getting a lightsaber. Like, you know what I mean?
Our booth next week at IT Nation, and we'll be celebrating. Sean will be at our booth getting something a little bit permanent. That's what I'll throw out.
That's right. You did tell me at
that's what we'll be celebrating.
And I ran into you guys at a conference not to be named.
Yeah,
you ran away. But yeah, you did tell me you guys are gonna have some fun there. I won't spoil it either, but I may partake in that. So that's good.
Great. Come by the Thread booth.
There you go. IT Nation Connect next week. It's just coming up way too fast. All right, Cam. So talk to me. So for those that may not have seen you last year, talk to us about briefly about your journey through PitchIT and eventually, to the winner circle.
Yeah, absolutely. So PitchIT was awesome for us because initially we weren't in the ecosystem, right? We were all over the place as far as our target market. We really resonated with enterprises, but we found a few years ago that there was a substantial audience of MSPs that didn't know a tool like us existed. And then we didn't know how to navigate it, right? We saw obviously an organic influx of MSPs coming in, and PitchIT was really our treasure map as far as how to navigate the MSP ecosystem. So I think that on top of being able to use the vernacular that resonates with the industry, the biggest thing that has helped us is knowing where to find information, right? And I think Sean and the rest of the PitchIT team have done a great job of presenting the avenues in which you can learn something or at least apply something, right? And me being nosy, I like to come into things prepared and have as much information as I can. So I think that that's been amazing.
That's awesome. So go ahead.
Can I jump in for 1 second though? Something that people don't know is last year when Cam wasn't the original person involved in Alertops to do this. He was been with Alertops, but he wasn't the PitchIT guy. And so I didn't know who the person was from Alertops until about halfway through the season, where he totally was like, "Hey, yeah, I'm in charge." It turned into and to what your point was, Cam, about the vernacular. Like he was like, just let's talk about the channel. Like, what's the channel look like? What are we gonna do? And he absorbed all that information and was able to repurpose it into the story. And I think it comes back around to storytelling, right? And the importance of that. And that was what actually probably stood you out the most, was being able to tell the story around exactly what your product does and what it does for the industry in the channel, which is kind of an important thing.
So I want to hear it. I want to hear the Cam Alertops pitch that got them the first place award. Phil, I know I'm throwing a curveball to you. Can you set up the 30-second timer and let's see how Cam does here?
Put me on the spot, but all right, let's do it.
Oh, I mean, you did this. I mean, why not? You know what I mean? So as soon as the timer starts, you can go, man. Oh, so wait, what? When did you become Bobby of Thread?
Man,
that is.
I just got to make it.
Restream's giving us a little bit of a headache today. It's not any of the participants. All right, Cam. When this timer starts, it's all yours, man.
All right, for sure. So Alertops is effectively an incident response automation tool. What does that mean? Get the right person, the right message at the right time. So we know that PSAs, RMM, security tools essentially flood you with noise, a lot of which is meant to be useful, but oftentimes isn't. So Alertops cuts through the noise and gets the right signal to the right person at the right time.
Bang!
Not bad at all.
Damn, he's like, I don't need 30.
Like, what am I going to do with 30 seconds? I got 24 and I'm done. Like, I'm already a winner. I know what I'm doing here. Not bad at all. Whatchamacallit? How do you think he did, Bobby? How would you rate your coach?
Incredible. Yeah, Cam's the man. I mean, I love it. Another great thing about us getting to work together is we're all about right person, right time, just from a different perspective. So when we talk about, like, our products aren't competing at all, but from a messaging perspective, it's pretty fun.
I mean, I would say you did pretty well.
Appreciate you. We'll see you at ITN. What was that, Sean?
I was about to say, I don't know, Cam, you did very well. And you had like 5 seconds to kind of mess around with if you wanted to. And I know, and I did notice you slow played a few of the words too on purpose to waste some time.
Extend it out a little bit.
I know. I saw. So yeah,
sir, that's called elocution. He's doing it on purpose to give gravitas to certain words. Totally not filling for time.
I mean, well,
no, but I do think it's worth mentioning the 30 seconds is an important thing that all vendors need to practice. Because there's a lot of sponsorships that give you that 30-second like rapid fire, and I can't even believe how many people mess up on that 30 seconds. One, they waste 10% of their time reintroducing their company when their logo is like literally sitting on the thing behind them. But it's also, to be honest, like I've spoken on all kinds of stages. It's the most nervous I get is the 30-second because there's really not much room for
it's that 30 seconds. And it's pretty fair to guesstimate that like 60 or 50% of the people in the audience are not paying attention to you when you're giving a general second. When you got that 30-second timer up, like you get everybody's attention. They're all looking at you.
Yeah,
absolutely. But that's the same thing. But that's the same rule that applies that when you're working at your booth at a conference. If it's a busy conference, you only have that 30 seconds. Like, and it's most.
You don't have a timer sitting there counting down for you. That's also the big deal.
That's kind of a good idea.
You do in your head.
I would do that. Actually, that's a good idea for future reference. Put a monitor on the back of your booth.
I like that.
And when people come up, it's not. Then they say, "What do you guys do?" Oh, it's not time yet. Hold on. And then once the timer people come up, then you hit the timer. Like have a timer for the timer. Like count down to your pitch.
No. There was a vendor I forget if it was Rob or ITNS. There was a vendor that was already all the way in the back corner, and he had this big LED sign, and it was a countdown. It was a digital countdown. It was giving me anxiety seeing this thing at the corner of the room counting down because I had no idea what it was counting down for. And the guy was like, "No, that's exactly it. Every time I hit 0, we do a giveaway and then start it again." He goes, "More people come just because of the timer trying to figure out what it is." And
That's
I'm like,
That's
"Damn,
pretty
that's
cool.
brilliant."
I do think if you had a stopwatch, this would work incredible.
yeah.
And then maybe I'll try it at IT Nation. If Sean, if you walked up to me, you're an MSP, and I just said, "Give me 30 seconds," and I had a timer, you're going to give me the 30 seconds. I can almost guarantee it.
absolutely. But
How
then,
many of
well,
us
you know,
are
you
gonna
always
show
get
the
to.
timers at ITNC now?
I know we're all gonna have timers now.
Sean's gonna have the big
It's going to hear like
clock.
buzzers
I'm
going
gonna
off
go one step
everywhere.
further. Matt's gonna be like, "Can I get 30 seconds?" I'm gonna have a horn, and I'm literally gonna. If he goes past, I'm like, "You're out of time, sorry."
Oh, the
I'm
bad
sorry.
ideas that come out of these events. And you thought it was just for pitching MSP products. No,
This
we're
was a
teaching
great
everybody.
idea. I'm glad we're.
Yeah, you can do it. You can do like that Billy in the street on YouTube. You know
Yes.
when he like runs up to
Oh,
people.
damn. Okay. Matt, that might be a you and me thing at ITNC hitting the event.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's do it.
Wow.
I don't know if it's you and a Matt thing now. Are you sure that jealous because I spent so much time with Matt that you're now cutting me out of stuff?
I mean,
That's what just happened.
you work well, it's different though, because you work at a vendor. We showcase vendors.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
No, no.
Slightly.
You're going to be busy, Sean. You're going to be very
Yeah,
busy.
You gotta
Sean,
shave
at
your
this
head and
event.
stuff, man. Like,
It's funny.
all right.
Anyway,
Bobby, do you have anything to share with us? Any final thoughts? I do want to give you a last 30-second pitch because I want to give you every opportunity to prepare to take that finalist stage. But any final thoughts you want to share with the audience?
I have one
of,
question
your
before you do
experience?
that. I have a question real quick, Bobby. How confident are you in winning the competition? I'm just curious.
You know, the other vendors are really awesome, and it's going to be really fun to be on stage with them.
This isn't the time
but it's
for
going to be more
humility,
fun
man.
to win and have the $70,000.
Wait, say that again, real quick. Say that line one more time.
I said we're going to win.
There you
Absolutely.
go. There you go.
Yeah, there's no question
It
about it.
needs
But
to
we
be
do
like
have a breakout
save
session,
ITNC
plug
money
for a
and
breakout
just not
session.
have any other vendors on the stage. Just have us come in. That's all you need to say. Like,
You know, we could. We paid for a breakout session. The 3 vendors are doing together at IT Nation. So check that out. I think it's on Friday. Could be on Thursday. But it's going to be really cool. So we really are all collaborating pretty closely together. So it's pretty fun.
Well, I want to see the pitch that's going to keep the Cam dynasty going. All right, you're Gen 3. You have to win this now. I want to see the 30-second pitch that's going to get you there. Same deal. When the timer starts, it's all you, dude.
Thread helps you create magical experiences with your end customer and with your technicians. Today, MSPs are forced to use antiquated ways to talk to their customers so that it logs on the ticket. Tickets are a terrible way to treat people. They're not meant for communication. So by empowering the thread to meet the customers where they live inside something like Teams and Slack, while it all logs on the ticket, we're unlocking a new way to provide service magic.
Nice.
Dang.
Not bad. You know what? I'm starting to feel it. I think there's a good chance. It's going to be the Gen 3 dynasty.
Wow.
Taking it.
I don't know. We have another race tomorrow, don't we?
Thanks,
We have another one tomorrow. What do you
I know we do. I know. I shouldn't say that. I'd be like, no. Bobby sucks. You should see the one tomorrow, dude. Like, it's
we don't even do 30-second pitches for PitchIT, so that wasn't part of our pitch.
So big. Speaking of, I know we all have ITNC next week. But Sean, what do you got coming up next? What do you got going on? Anything between now and ITNC?
Just
And
working with
obviously
you.
These.
Yeah. These live streams. We have a couple of live streams planned for the charity stuff we're doing. Physically, nothing else happening, just preparation for that. I get it on Tuesday. If anybody's in next Tuesday, the conference starts. The pre-day is on Wednesday the 8th. If anybody's in the day before, I know that Sierra Pacific Group is having a party on that night to make some large announcements before Connect gets kicked off. So if anybody's around and wants to go, let me know. I'll make sure you get the information to register and come to the party. Right now I'm in full court press just for supporting the mission of all these different vendors and the partners. Literally, that's my only responsibility until, I don't know, 2027, basically. I mean,
Sean, Mister, I don't do a whole lot, but I do pitch it though, and pitch it's good enough. I appreciate you for pitch it, sir.
It's a full-time job, man. It
Yeah.
turned into. I mean, Bobby knows because he sees how much I'm work, and Cam knew it last year, and it got worse this year. Not worse, better, but just more work. I mean, 4 or 5 different community engagements going
Did you
on.
just
with live
complain about
stream.
your full-time job being your full-time job? Did I just?
Yes, yes, I did. But without even really trying to, I successfully did it.
Nice. What about you, Matt? You never complain. I'm surprised we got you in a room for 45 minutes and you didn't have to fly off anywhere. What do you got going on, man?
Yeah. Obviously be in IT Nation next week, but on Wednesday we're actually doing a pretty cool webinar because vendors don't get webinars for them very often. So we're doing a webinar, and it actually has to do with the pre-strategy of going into an event. So vendors spend all this money at an event, but the reality is, if you really want to make the most out of your investment, there's a lot of activities you should be doing ahead of time. And so myself and Caitlin from our team, we're going to kind of walk through the pre-event strategies and some strategies at events. And look, I mean, I think it's still applicable to MSPs as well, so they're welcome to join. If you're an MSP that does events, the strategies aren't going to be that drastically different. So anybody's welcome, but it is more of a vendor centric
I'm looking forward to that so I can go learn something. It should be mandatory learning for all the PitchIT contestants.
Oh, by the way, I got to yell at. I do have something going on tomorrow that I totally forgot about. I got a message about this. Like, what are you talking about? This week alone, tomorrow I have a live stream from ConnectWise with our Invent certification program partners, which by the way, these guys are all part of, which is very important to us. And then on Thursday, I have a Malware Bytes one where there's a big announcement takeover happening. So yeah, and that's all through ConnectWise. I have that on top of all my other stuff. That's why it's like literally back to back to back.
Nice.
Done.
Gosh, way to just step on my.
He had his time. He wanted to take some of your time. Is what it was.
Really, Matt? Hey, Matt, what do you do? Let me tell you how awesome I am. Look at all these amazing things.
30 seconds.
What about you, Cam? As the only other non-bald person here, help me out. What are you doing, dude?
Nobody's perfect.
Just gearing up for IT Nation Connect, but all this bald talk is making me a little bit nervous about my hairline. So
yeah, I mean the beard shave was last year, maybe this year.
No, there's no.
I'm kidding,
no.
Sean. Don't do that. Don't do that. I can't shave my head. I look like Jason Voorhees. It's not a pretty look.
I look like a turtle.
All right, and we'll put that link in the chat for the Malware Bytes presentation webinar.
Thank
you. You got it. And Mr. Bobby from Thread, what about you, man? What do you got going on? Anything going on between now and Connect?
No, Connect's the big thing. We're on stage for PitchIT. We've got our breakout session. We'll have some big announcements around our new AI features. So if you're not going to PitchIT, if you don't use ConnectWise, 1, you should talk to Sean. But 2, these features are still for you. So check out our LinkedIn. Watch out for some announcements.
So we got lots of big announcements coming out over the next week and change. So very exciting to see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We have some upcoming events. Phil, can you bring those up for me? See if I can read them. Oh, I can read them. Okay. So PitchIT Finalist Spotlight. That is the actual title of this thing. We're doing VCIO Toolbox on Halloween at 1 p.m. It'll be a scary good time. Then there's the Spooky Cybersecurity Jeopardy Halloween special for MSPs. We got to work at these titles. They're a little too long. That's Halloween also at 4 o'clock. Oh Lord, I'm gonna be dead by the end of Halloween. And then we have our final PitchIT Finalist Spotlight, Nodeware. And that is November 1st at 1 p.m. Eastern. And then we have Wins and Losses, episode 11 with Jason Slagle and myself. We have Tech Bar, the pre-ITNC and IT Nation Gives Party, where we're going over all these amazing things happening at IT Nation Connect. And then, of course, MSP Dispatch, presented by Tony Francisco and yours truly. Gentlemen, thanks so much for being on with us. We appreciate each and every one of you. Bobby, I wish you the best of luck. I absolutely have no favorites, but I wish you the best of luck. And if anything, just to see the dynasty happen again. But gentlemen, thank you so much for being on. Audience, thank you for being part of this. Even if you had to run off to Costco, we appreciate your participation. If you didn't get to watch the whole thing, it is recorded, and you can go back to the same platforms, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook, and you can rewatch the whole thing and learn a few things like not reintroducing yourself on your 38-second pitch, which I was listening for, Bobby, and you did great. All right. Till next time, everybody. Take care of yourselves and each other. All right.
Toodle.
This has been a podcast of the MSP Network.